everybody. Welcome to the next episode of New Earth TV Live. And of course, we have a very special episode today where I'm going to be channeling Adronis. Adronis is going to be coming in for a special announcement, a message. I only have a faint idea of what it's about, but he hasn't really elaborated too much on what it will be. So last time Adronis had a message like this, it was just before COVID-19 came out. He did it around January of 2020, I believe, around that time. And he was talking about the levels of contact. And he was helping us to kind of uplift ourselves into a higher frequency before COVID-19 hit us. So that was the last time he had kind of an updated announcement of this nature in that sense. So I'm going to be bringing him here very, very shortly. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Audio coming through okay, guys? Says my audio is a bit whack. Okay, let me see what I can do here. Says my sound is not good. Okay, let me just take a moment here, guys, and see if I can fix it on my end. A little bit of static. Okay, well that's odd. It looks like everything is in the green where I am here. Let me try a little mic test here, see if the mic test is okay. Okay, guys, is that microphone better? Oops. My microphone is acting a little bit weird. Okay, guys, is that better? Way better? Okay, great. I'm on the webcam microphone. I'll have to look into that. That might just be a glitch on my computer, I think, with the other microphone, so I'll have to take a look into that. Okay, so let me start off from the top before we have technical difficulty. See, I'm already getting some glitches here, so this means it's a big announcement that Adronis is about to share here, so some people don't want to hear it. Okay, so anyways, as I was saying before the glitchy microphone happened, Adronis is going to be coming through here very shortly. And he has a special announcement for everybody. And like I said, the last time he had a special announcement like this was around January or so, around 2020, just before COVID-19 came. And he was just basically doing what's known as the levels of contact, helping people to kind of elevate their consciousness, move themselves up into higher frequency, so they would not be bombarded by the upcoming propaganda of COVID-19. So that's the last time he had an announcement of this nature to come through. So I only have a little bit of an idea of what he's going to talk about, but most of it is just going to come through him, sharing his words through my words in that way. So anyways, yeah, E.T.'s playing around with the glitchy microphone here. That was really strange because this is a brand new microphone. It should not be glitching out like that. So yeah, something's not working here too good. But like I said, I'll get to the bottom of that later. Anyways, guys, we're going to start off like we always do. We're going to get into announcements first, and then I'm going to bring Adronis in. After Adronis is finished with his information, then we'll be getting into Q&A for everybody here in the live chat. If you have questions for me or questions for Adronis, then you can place that here. So let's go ahead and move into our announcements. So healing code cards. So for those of you who are in the United States and you want to go to Amazon to grab the healing code cards, they are not on Amazon. Okay, there's basically some customs border agency conflicts right now. with the healing code cards. They're not really giving me that much information about why it's being held or being detained. It was basically chosen as a random selection to be detained in that way. So my healing code card boxes that were on the way to Amazon have actually been detained for customs, and actually has been detained now for a couple of weeks, and they have not given me an explanation for it. So my guess is it's because it's an alternative healing technology, and that's a threat to a lot of the establishment. So that's pretty much my feeling. But nonetheless, guys, don't worry. Just go to healingcodecards.com. Okay, so the digital version and the printed edition for the body and the mind decks are available. Go to healingcodecards.com, and they'll be available. I also fixed up a lot of the mobile website because the mobile website links weren't functioning too well. So the mobile version of the website is working great now. So again, if you guys want to grab a hold of the decks, you can do that. The new body deck special edition is going to be coming out hopefully around June. I would say around that time. I'm actually using a new provider, a new printing provider for the new Healing Code Cards body deck. So this is kind of an example of it right here. Okay, it would come in a tin box, right? It's not more of the tuck box as before. A lot more of a durable box, and it will be 44 cards. Right? So hopefully I'm going to get that ready by June. We're going to do some printing. It's actually, I'm looking forward to these guys. They have some really nice designs, and of course having a tin box, definitely a lot better. All right. So again, go to healingcodecards.com if you want to get your cards. Go there. Don't worry so much about Amazon. Once the situation is resolved, then I will see. I will definitely post an update about that. Okay, and of course, healing code cards. This is kind of a mixed up part here. Healingcodeshop.com. So again, healing code apparel, healing code accessories, and more. So you can go to healingcodeshop.com, detoxifier, charger, rejuvenator, youth body. There's also the children's rejuvenator, the children's detoxifier as well too. A lot of stuff coming. I'm looking to see if I can roll out some more projects for the healing code shop as well too, but it might just be a little bit down the road. Okay, and of course today is the Astrological dampening session, so they are now available on newearthteachings.com. All right, so it's reducing the planetary intensity upon the body through healing codes and refining the aura's vitality field through dowsing. Consisting of 3 group sessions available Wednesdays and Thursdays. I already have a few people signing up already, so this is great. I'm looking forward to doing the astrological dampening sessions. It has really helped me tremendously working with the dampening sessions in that way, and I'm happy to share this in a group space through the sessions, again, available Wednesdays and Thursdays. So again, it's launching today. It's now available. So go to newearthteachings.com and you can grab your astrological dampening session. It's discounted right now. It's at a discount rate for a whole month. So go ahead and check it out. And this Sunday, returning is the Spirit Ambassador Classroom. So the Spirit Ambassador Classroom is coming back. We have a free class. Of course, it is always free. The Spirit Ambassador Classroom, happening at 11 a.m. Pacific Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. The link is in the video description. Okay, so you can check out the link there. You can also find the other links: astrological dampening sessions, healing code cards, healing code shop, my Telegram link, etc. Okay, all in the video description. Okay, so hello to everybody on the chat. Thank you for being here today. Sorry that you had to put up with my glitchy microphone. Again, that is very, very strange that happened. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and take a moment to bring Adronis in. So like I said, I'm just going to leave it together in his hands, whatever he wants to discuss with all of you. He is going to present. So I will go ahead and take a moment to bring Adronis through. Like I said, after we're done, then we'll be getting into Q&A. Okay. So one moment as I bring Adronis in now, and he will begin his special announcement and message. Healing code cards must be more popular than Pokemon cards if customs wants them. Oh yeah, Pokemon cards don't heal you. Healing code cards do. So of course they would. Okay, here we go. Soul Star. CD. We are here at this time, and we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. We send our love and appreciation and gratitude to all who are tuning in to this broadcast through your internet collective consciousness. What we ask all of you to do at this time is simply allow yourselves to get relaxed, get comfortable, and tune in to the vibrations of Sirius, so that you may synchronize, harmonize, and align to all of the information that we have to share. Also understand that all the information that we shall provide is simply that of our perspective, our point of view. For all knowledge, all information, all creation itself resides within your very hearts, beings, and souls. We shall begin this transmission by saying the word checkmate. What this means is that you have now reached a breach. You have now crossed a threshold to where all agendas originally planned to serve the corrupt is now completely isolated to the alignment of failure. There will not be the idea of control, manipulation, forced inoculations, anything of that nature, because it has now reached a tipping point. The tipping point that has come has been to the decreasing and lack of leadership pertaining to those upon the side of the corrupt. Which means the times ahead will very much be in your hands. This is indeed the reason for our announcement today. It is not only the idea of looking at these agendas and groups, but also looking at the astrological significances of where you are moving forward at this time. We have talked about the idea of not only 2021 being a year of transition, but a year of revelation, a year of revolution. And that is what is ahead. It is the idea that the distrust that many of you have pertaining to your authority figures and the authority agendas is monumental. And that the times ahead are going to be very emotional for many of you. Because even though these timelines have shifted and the idea of the corrupt have been isolated, they will not stop. They will not end with the idea of the propaganda, the fear, and the control. They feel that they must be victorious by any means necessary. By any means necessary, which means they will not stop themselves from stooping very, very low. They will attempt to bring war. They will attempt to bring out more viruses. They will attempt to cook up more of these plans and agendas, but it will be for naught. Because they lack a state of leadership right now. Because their previous leaders have now been removed from the game. Many of them. And there are very few left. And they work with different sides, different polarities, different gradients in that way. some gradients cannot interact with other gradients, and so that gradient starves and it falls aside. During this time, our recommendation to all of you is to come together. It does not have to be in person. It does not have to be physical. But it is for you to come together and unify your hearts together as one. What do we do, Adronis, during this time? Where there have been these agendas, where there have been this fear and this manipulation, what do we do during this time? You reach deep within yourself and you pull out compassion. You pull out love. You pull out your strength. You pull out your intelligence. And you share that with the planet. Regardless of how much fear is fed to you on a daily basis, you are able to answer that with your compassion, with your intelligence, with your strength, with your love. And that is what's going to turn the tide completely for humanity. For as long as you buy into these agendas that they are falsely spinning throughout their media, you are again trapped within the walls that they themselves are attempting to influence you to say that you have. You need to take those walls down because they are illusions. We have talked about the idea of levels of contact, where we talked about you connecting to each chakra center and listening for a message. We still recommend that you do that. But really what this comes down to now is looking inside for your light and seeing that light in the center of your heart that you can pull out, and that through a large wave of unified human beings that come together and shine this light brightly, your power returns to you. Because what you are going to be experiencing here very shortly is human revolution. You are going to be experiencing very heavy emotional times because the people will know that they have been lied to. They will know that they have been manipulated. They will know that they have been completely coerced to give power to those who have no sympathy for you whatsoever. This is where your energies are moving. It is the point of revolution. That people are going to be angry. People are going to be afraid. But nonetheless, those of you who do know what has been transpiring for this near year and a half approximately of your time, realize that this has all been a facade, that this has been, in that sense, a fakery, a falsehood. You're the light warriors here. You're the ones that are picking people up and helping them to be dusted off. And now your time, your call to action, is more needed now than it ever has. You are going to meet some very frightened people. You are going to meet some very angry people. Because this is going to lead into a greater exposure, a greater transition during this time. That those who have shared the truth have often been of what you would call conspiracy theorists. Don't listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about. It's all a conspiracy. Our government would never do that to us. Yes, they would. Our officials would never be so cold-hearted to release all this agenda, propaganda, information, and actions. They would not betray us. Yes, they would. And that is the moment of silence where people are saying, oh my goodness, this is actually true? This is actually what they've been doing? Yes. They will get afraid. They will get angry. They will want action. And that is where you warriors of light come in. And you are helping to soothe. You are helping to complement. You are helping to work together with them and say, let's work together. Humanity stands on its own. In order for the old leaders to step aside out of their power, the idea of everything that represents their corruption must be exposed. For you will not have change when the opposition side is just sitting around and doing nothing. They have to do these things. They have to be intense. They have to make their true motives clear, because if they don't, you're not going to progress anywhere. They have to show this intensity of themselves. They have to show these lies, these manipulations, this corruption. It has to be shared. Otherwise, it stays in the darkness. It stays tucked under a rock. You walk around the rock not thinking of anything else. There's nothing there that represents your focus of attention. It needs to come out. It needs to blast loudly. And as it does, thank this situation for coming about, because now you know. Now it's been exposed. Now it can be dealt with. Now light can shine upon that shadow that's been hiding for so very long, because it's making itself so more noticeable now. And now it can be drowned with light. Now it can be drowned with strength, with intelligence, with love, with compassion. Because that is how you transcend yourselves. Many of you at first will start off very angry by what you are going to hear in the times ahead shortly. Some of you again may already know this. Some of you may not. But this is all part of a very large exposure. As we have stated, the timelines have fused now to where there is checkmate, where everything that represents the corrupt opposition is heavily isolated and will not impact in regards to the agendas of intention they had to attempt to enslave, to corrupt, to create fear, to manipulate, to control. It will not be granted to them. It never would be granted to them. Many of you thought that they may actually get to that level. No. They're only allowed to go so far up the barometer before it stops. We have talked about this before. They are only able to go so far up the barometer where it says halt. And this is what's happening now, because it has reached a level where the people of your planet are now starting to see through them transparently. And so they've been given this idea of saying, go ahead, expose what you need to expose, heat it all up, bring the fear, bring the corruption, bring the propaganda, go ahead. And so they do. And as soon as it hits here, it reaches a level of transparency. And the transparency becomes so strong that the counterforce steps in. And the counterforce steps in, and it will be events that will lead to undeniability. It cannot be denied anymore. And we would say that mainly to the open-minded. For those who are closed-minded and still, with all of their hearts, give their power to governments and to authorities, they will never see this. They are associated with that corruption. They don't want to be, but this is all that they know. Therefore, they become, in that sense, involuntary associates, because it is through their beliefs that they cling to it. But this is for the open-minded. The open-minded see this through greater transparency, and this is who we speak to. We cannot help those who have already given their beliefs, their powers away to authority, to government. There's nothing that can be done for them. Their entire being is to safeguard that old platform, because that is what matters to them the most. You take that away from them, you might as well be taking away oxygen from them. That's how they have aligned themselves, because we have moved past the point of no return. They will not let you take away their oxygen. This is why we cannot speak to them. They hear our voice, but they do not listen. So be it. But those who do know what has been happening here for a very long time are able to see this transparency coming. Many people do not fall for the lies, the corruption, the manipulation that has been happening for this near 1.5 years of time relating to this agenda, their final operation, the operation that would make or break them, and it's breaking them. Their leadership is in shambles. They are scattered like rats, like cockroaches. And the timelines have fused together where their defeat is a certainty. Not a maybe, not a possibility, but a certainty. The timelines have been fused. They have become isolated. But as we stated, there is nothing they will not stoop to. For them, failure is not an option. They will continue to share fear. They will continue to speak of viruses, to speak of vaccinations, speak of all these things, because they are afraid. They are terrified, knowing that everything they try ends up failing. And it is extremely frustrating to them. No matter what we try, we keep failing. Of course. Because what you are about is not the vibration of the world. It is moving up while you're trying to push it down. You cannot push down the weight of the entire world by yourself or with your few. The world is too massive. The world is too strong. The world is too powerful. And she wants to move up. You keep trying to push her down. You are going to crush yourselves under your own weight. Because her tidal force is so powerful, it could never be declined again. And that's what they're trying to do, is to try and keep these pillars up. Try and push all this weight down. We will engulf the entire world with fear. Well, guess what? So many aren't falling for your manipulation anymore. They're not falling for the corruption anymore. All of that's fading away. This is why it's checkmate. The king has been seized. No matter what move they do on the chessboard, checkmate is all around. This is what we have to share with you today. It is a reminder. A reminder that from this point forward, emotions are going to get intense. From this point forward, there is going to be a heaviness relating to retaliation. From this point forward, those of you who have followed this path for many years are now being called to action in the highest way now that it has ever been. Look after your family with love. And when we talk about your family, we mean the entire planet. We mean the humans on this planet, the animals, nature, elements. Everything is your family. It is time for you to work with the greatest light within yourselves and shine this light brightly. Because you are going to see truths, more truths exposed that may shock many of you, even the open-minded. No, it will not be broadcast on your mainstream media, not very likely. but you will know that these things are happening. You will hear it through yourself, most importantly, but you will hear it from others organically, through what you would know as your underground, your grassroots. You will hear it, and it will become undeniable. There are some very intense times to come here, emotionally speaking. But again, these intense times are a tunnel, and at the end of the tunnel is the light. And this is what you are going through right now. You are trudging through the mud of this tunnel to reach the light at the end, because that's where it is. It is there. It is shining brightly. It cannot be missed. But you have to trudge. You have to go through this muddy tunnel right to the end, right to the light, because that's where humanity's going. The timelines have been fused. They've been aligned to favor humanity taking their power back. We understand that this conduit really doesn't like to talk about politics or predictions in that way. And this is why we are speaking through our own means, because we will frankly speak on anything that again is in alignment, in service, relating to what's taking place here. So again, this is what we have to share with all of you today. That as you move further into 2021, revolution is going to happen more. Heavy emotional times are going to happen more. People who need your help are going to happen more. But the timelines are no longer supporting the corrupt. They never really have in the first place. Because again, it was all part of them escalating their intentions till it hits a certain point of the barometer. And when it does, everything now starts to crumble apart on their end. And you will see this in the weeks and months to come. We thank you for allowing us to come through this conduit today, to share this special announcement with all of you. We will now take a moment to return to the conduit and begin a question and answer period with all of you. Thank you. Okay, wow. That was intense. That was an intense channeling there. So, that's great. So we can basically say that the times ahead now relate to checkmate. That's great. I'm kind of seeing that as well too. I've been getting feelings of that as well too. Basically, when I started to look at the COVID from the very, very beginning, I said, what is this doing? Like, why is this getting so much power? Why is this getting so much emphasis to come out? Right? It's obviously corrupt to the bone. Why is this getting so much, quote unquote, airtime to come out? Because it's a barometer. Because it's something that's going to intensify and intensify and intensify until it hits a certain point. And as it hits a certain point, then we see the opposition side collapsing under its own weight. And now we're starting to see that. So this is great news. It's wonderful news. So basically, again, as Adronis has talked about in the past, that right now there is a great divide, right? There is a displacement taking place. And again, it's those who are just extremely faithful to the opposition side who basically see them as angels, saying the government will never betray me, the authority will never deviate from me, they will never manipulate me in that way. And no matter what you show them, like I said, it's like you trying to take away oxygen from them, right? They are so completely dependent upon the artificial system. It's kind of like going back into the movie The Matrix, right? So many of these people are so hopelessly dependent upon their system that they will give their very lives to protect it, right? It's exactly what we're seeing, okay? Like I said, there's people who I've talked to, and when I'm doing it through sessions, when I'm just talking to people like you guys on the live chat here, saying, Brad, no matter what I say to my mom and dad, they won't get it. They won't understand. What do I do? What do I do to get it through their thick heads that what they're putting their energy into is not the way to go? You can't. Because if you tried to, you might as well try and take oxygen away from them, right? It's a sad thing. It's unfortunate it's happened. I mean, some members of my family are very much in that alignment too. There's nothing I can do for them, right? Some old friends that I've had, there's nothing I can do, right? All you can do is just continue to give love to the entire planet because they're a part of the mix. But you're also working with people who are open, but they're not too sure what to do. But they're open to these things. And you want to help those people. You want to support them. You want to guide them in that way. That's where a lot of the energy needs to focus on, is where the open-minded, the loving are coming in, because we're the warriors. We're the ones that are the guardians, so to speak. We're the one that's going to start uplifting the love energy on this planet, helping it out, working with the entire family, as Adronis talked about. Okay. So again, I'm sure there's quite a lot of questions based on what Adronis has shared. Yeah, one question is, Adronis, if MSM still stands, how can it be known to be undeniable? Well, again, if you put so much faith into the MSM, you're basically following the plan relating to the corrupt, right? You have to understand the mainstream media is the corrupt's machine. That is a machine, right? People who are open-minded don't trust the MSM. They don't watch it. If they watch it, it's mainly just saying how ridiculous the whole thing is, okay? If you're very, very open-minded, why would you put so much of your faith into something that you know is corrupt to the bone, right? But again, that's part of a propaganda machine. You look at big MSM, you look at big pharma, you look at all these things. And there are those who are so hopelessly dependent upon it, right? You take away that, you take away their oxygen. I'm pretty sure many of you guys aren't on that alignment, right? You know the MSM is BS. So how do we know this is going to come out? It'll become undeniable. As Adronis says, you're going to have to wait and see, right? A lot of it is coming through the underground. A lot of it is coming through the grassroots. A lot of it is coming through other officials on other channels of information that, again, it'll become undeniable. There will be so much conjecture, but confirmation from many other sides who are officials but aren't able to get that airtime on the MSM. Okay, this is where you guys have to kind of do your research, but the most important research is in here, right? As Adronis was saying, you're going to notice that there are officials, that there are government officials who are very much open-minded, who are confirming a lot of these things, but because they don't get airtime on CNN, right, that's where the people who are very much heavily dependent upon those MSM channels aren't going to believe them. And those aren't the ones that need to believe, with all due respect. It's the ones who are open. It's the ones who are action takers. It's the ones who are free-minded. Those are the people that are going to take action. When you see these rallies coming together, you're not seeing people joining those rallies who completely have a hard-on for CNN or for mainstream media. You're not going to find them there. Who are you going to find there? The open-minded. You're going to look at the free thinkers. You're going to look at the resolvers. Okay? Those are the ones that are going to shift the tide toward everything. And they're not at home watching CNN. They're not at home watching MSNBC or Fox News. They're the ones that are out there. They're the ones that are rallying. They're the ones that are talking to people. They're the ones that are on the microphone, encouraging the audience, inspiring the audience. Those are the ones that are the game changers. That's the tidal wave. Okay? So do you think MSM really matters when it comes to those people? Not at all. They know it's an entire joke. This is why, again, as Adronis said, he's not speaking to those who are hopelessly dependent upon the artificial platform. Those people are not being spoken to. The ones that are being spoken to are the ones who are the action takers, the ones who are open-minded. They are the ones that are going to bring in a new earth. Those who are not taking action, hopelessly dependent upon the system, you try to take that away from them, it's like taking away oxygen. They are going to go to an old earth. They are going to go along with the corrupt. Even though, again, they may be nice people, but nonetheless, they're dominant in regards to that authority figure. They're dominant pertaining to that artificial platform. And they can't live without it. That becomes a dependency. They have to go with that because that's where their energy is pointing them. And there are those who are the action takers, the open-minded, the loving, the compassionate, the supporters. They're moving into a new earth because they are faculties of change. That's what's taking place here, guys. Okay, this is what Adronis is sharing here when you look into his channelings, right? Sometimes he says things that are kind of in code, but you have to kind of listen a little bit more, right? Look into things a little bit more. Don't expect instant answers. Discover these truths for yourselves. It's very important, okay? So let's go through the questions here. I know some people, again, may have some questions for Adronis or for myself. Ava, thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. Okay, someone asks about the vaccines and stuff. Adronis has already shared about it. Okay, he's already talked about this, about the vaccines and stuff like that. Again, I'm trying not to get this video taken down on YouTube or anything like that, so I basically refer to them as pokes or inoculations. But yes, he's already talked about it quite often. There's been a lot of questions about the vaccine. So what I would say is just not to get, a risk in that way, is look back into previous newer TV lives. Okay, people have asked him about vaccinations. Okay, basically in a summary, don't get them because they are basically a poison. Okay, so be aware of that. Again, I don't want to get too much into it because I have talked about this in the past, but basically, if you can not get them, that'd be the best thing for you. Okay. So again, when people say, Brad, is this official? Guys, what does official mean to you? Does official mean it's going to be on CNN? What makes you think that CNN is the official news? What makes you think that mainstream media is the official news? Why do you brand it as the official news? You know it's corrupt to the bone. So why do you brand that as officiating? This must be the official news because it's on CNN. Give me a break, man. No. You have to understand that what is official is organic. Right? It is the organic nature, organic information, organic understanding. It is what clicks together through you as truth. That is what is official. Not in regards to what you, again, brand so much of the big capital letters, MSM. If it's on CNN, if President Trump says this, if Biden says that. No, guys, that is not official. You are hearing it from the grapevine. The official nature of this being true is when it clicks, when it resonates, when it's truth through you. That's the official confirmation. This is where people look at this and say, oh my God, it is the truth. I've had this feeling all along. I can't really explain it, but hey, it's the truth. Right? If you guys think that you're going to get official news by turning on your television, you're deluding yourselves. Right? That's not the key here. The truth comes through you. It's from within. It's that resonance. It's that realization. Yes, this is what I've been feeling all along. And now I look at this truth on my screen, or I hear it from a person, or I'm meditating on it, and I get that truth, and it comes through. It's what comes through you that is official. If you think anybody else has some officiality beyond yourself, well, then you're enslaved. You're enslaved upon that state of dependency because somebody still has to think for you. You're not honoring your independent thought. You're not honoring your independent feelings. You have resonance. You have truth within yourself. Oh yeah, but bro, people have higher power than me. Really? How's that? How does that work? Okay, nobody has higher power over you, regardless of their positions in government or in media or anything of that nature. They're a human being just as you are. They are a soul just as you are. It is when you discover this resonance, this truth within yourself, that's the official nature. That's where things become official. Okay? Really look into what you term pertaining to officiality, because it's not what you think it is. All right? Okay, let me just go down the list here a bit more. Hager says, yo, brother Brad, we got this. I felt this too. Checkmate, great analogy. Got to thank Adronis. It's through his own information for that. So, okay. So there's a question here. I've gotten quite a few questions about Israel. Okay. People talking a lot about Israel. What's going down with Israel? Why is Israel under all this intensity? What's going on? So she says, Adronis, can you please share what is really going on in Israel? And when is the right time to visit my family in Israel? I don't live there, and they want me to visit. Okay. Well, again, it's all about when the waters smooth out in that way. So, anyways, Adronis can talk a little bit more about Israel. Okay. we thank you very much for your question about Israel. Israel is much of the center of attention and is the grounds pertaining to this corruption because of its nature, because of its energy. You understand that Israel has often been seen as a chosen land, that Israel represents the epicenter to the dawning of modern civilization. And it is the corrupt stronghold because it is the nexus relating to where modern man stemmed from. It is the idea of a land chosen by God. It is an epicenter. It is a vortex. It is a power center on your planet. It is basically seen as the center of the world, right in the middle. Therefore, in order for there to be this level of corruption, the idea of Israel must be infiltrated. It must be the main focus because it's the epicenter to modern man. It is the chosen land. It is the central land. And therefore, by working together with the center, the virus can spread outwards. And we're talking about a different virus here. This virus relates to the idea of corruption. And then it spreads to other lands. But what is happening right now is that the other lands are now starting to come together, and there is a reversal effect taking place. We could share certain things about Israel, but in that sense it may not be safe for many of you to hear it at this time. This is not to say that we are not going to talk about Israel at this particular time, but there are certain things that are taking place within Israel that would put many of you at risk if you were to hear it. And what we can say is that this is already leading to a positive outcome. But again, this can also put the channel at risk should we share it. So we will not. But it is a positive outcome that is taking place in Israel, and it needs time to brew. It needs time to ferment. It needs time to grow its roots. There is, in that sense, a retaliation. There is, in that sense, a regrouping that is going to lead into political change upon Israel. This time is coming, but again, we cannot elaborate on it any further, not to put yourselves at risk or this channel at risk. But there's a lot of counter forces happening within Israel right now that is going to lead to it turning inside out. And there is going to be a great change, a great unraveling, a great regrouping that will take place. This is what we can share about it at this particular time. In regards to you wanting to go to Israel, it's as Brad shared as well too, let the waters be calm before you decide to do that. There will be an opportunity to when that will come, but you simply need to wait for that opportunity. It will be more of a warmer invitation when that opportunity comes. The people of Israel are far more braver than you may think. If you feel that what Israel is going through right now, because what you've seen on the news, you're missing a very larger story right now. And again, we really can't talk about that. Do not believe what you are simply seeing pertaining to the suppression of Israel, because there's a reason for that. A greater reason, a more positive reason, that many of you may not see, but when you put it together, you will realize it. But again, not to bring any risk forward, this is what we can elaborate on pertaining to the situation with Israel. All right? We thank you. Okay. Thank you, Adronis, and thank you very much. Sorry, I think I lost a question. I forget the person's name, but thank you for your question as well, too. Okay. Let me just go down the list here a bit more. Okay, here's a good one here from Zach for Adronis again as well. Adronis, could you speak about how our daily emotional experience can influence our timeline and how to best uplift the planet's emotional energy? Okay, let me go ahead and move to the live chat here. There we go, that's better. Forget that I have that window. Okay, so let me go ahead and bring Adronis in, and he can look into Zach's question again. It's about daily emotional experience, influence our timeline, and how to best uplift the planet's emotional energy. Okay, so here we go. We thank you very much, Zach. We have to remind you, you are the Earth. You are your planet. You are your universe. Therefore, everything that you think impacts what you believe the world to be. That which you are emotional of impacts the world that you think it to be, or feel it to be. So therefore, you have to look at this planet, and you have to ask yourself, what is it that I want to reach out and receive from this world? What is it when I look at everybody else? What is it that I want to bring into me? Is it love? Is it compassion? Is it joy? Is it excitement? Is it bliss? Well, then why not make that your daily intention? Not a routine, because it is not something to do like a robot over and over and over again, but a daily intention. Something that brings about the emphasis of your essence in energizing this planet. You are the Earth. The Earth is you. There's no separation here. You may decide to go out into nature, to rest right next to a tree, and to meditate, and to root yourself deeply into the earth, and through the very spark of light within your heart, grow it and make it larger, so that you shine like a star, and you send that loving energy to the earth. And she is so thrilled that one of her children sent her this love. She sends it back to you 4 times greater. Now, doesn't that feel wonderful, hearing that? What can we do to uplift our timelines? We just told you. Because the timelines through yourself are malleable. And if you put so much emphasis into fear, well, then the timelines are going to reflect fear. But if you go out into nature, or if you're inside your home, and you're honoring your planet, you're honoring your family, as we have talked about, that is what's going to shift your timelines to that effect. Because you're doing this daily. You're doing this regularly. And it's a unique experience every time that you do it. The timelines will reflect that energy. They will be those mirrors that will shine this love energy. And you will feel so blessed. Because when you send love to the earth gives it back to you 4 times greater. That's how much she loves her children. So why not work on that every single day? Make it a unique experience every single day. What's stopping you? Yourself. Not your politics, not your government, not your work, not your parents, not your family, not your friends, not your extended contacts. You. You look so much around you to say, where's the fear? Where's the fear? Where's the fear? But when you look into your center, say, here's love. And love drowns out all fear because it's so much more powerful. It's a natural vibration. Fear is the idea of love flipped over. And it degrades, and it deteriorates, and it dies. But when you look at true love, that is the eternal. This is why fear is transient. It has a lifespan. It has an expiration to it. Because a person, no matter how fearful, can never sustain that fear eternally. They can't. It's a finite boundary. Because they will move themselves into correction. That's also part of human nature. For some it may happen quickly. For others it may take a little longer. But nonetheless, you can never ever sustain yourself off fear. You'll get to the point where you can't take fear anymore and you want to change. As we stated, some will change quickly, some will take a little longer. But nonetheless, they will get there because fear is transient. It is finite. It has an expiration date. Love does not. Love is eternal. Love is infinite because it's natural. It's your natural vibration. It's your natural self. It is the life energy of God. It can never expire. So that which you turn on your head that was divine and moving it into corrupt will always have an expiration date. It will run its course. And through that, it has made you a stronger person. It has made you a wiser soul. It has made you a pure spirit because you've gone through that. All right? We thank you. Okay, thank you, Zach, for your question. Going down the list a bit more here. Okay. I'm just reading some comments here, so. Okay, there's a lot of people saying, well, you know, these vaccine things should be made public, and these true recorded deaths should be made public. Again, guys, for those who are open already know. Who are you trying to convince, right? Like I said, if you try to convince the closed-minded, you may as well try to take away their oxygen. Stop doing it, right? Work together with those who are associated with you. That's where the strength comes. You see, this is the problem, guys, is we keep reaching down and say, take my hand, and they keep smacking it away. They keep smacking it away. They keep smacking it away. And you dedicate so much of your time in saying, oh, God, you don't get it. Why don't you get it? Right? And you want to rip your hair out. This is probably why I got a little hair on my head. You want to rip your hair out and say, for God's sakes, take my frigging hand. That's what you get. And you dedicate your entire day towards that. Trying to reach people out of the mud who don't want your hand. You're taking away their oxygen. They are hopelessly dependent on the system. And you keep reaching. And you keep pulling your hair out. And you get frustrated. And you get angry. And you get upset. Because no matter what you do, you can't get that person out of the mud. When in fact there's all these wonderful people right alongside you who know what you know, who stand with you, who stand united, but you don't even bother to focus on them. You're focusing on trying to get this guy out of the mud who doesn't want your frigging hand. And you try to take away their oxygen. Stop it. And look into all the people that are surrounding you who are ready to work alongside you, who do know what's going on, who are looking to make a difference. That is where you need to invest your time. It's to people of common mind, not to the people who don't want to hear what you say, who will get angry every single time you try to say it, who will knock your hand out of the way every time you try to reach it out. And you keep doing it, and you keep doing it, and you keep doing it. And now you're starting to sink into the mud as well too, because they're going to pull you down with them. Right? It's when that person says, okay, I'm ready to come out, and now you can take their hand. Right? We know we want to try and pull people out that are sinking in this mud, sinking in this quicksand. Right? We want to pull them out. But anytime you're reaching your hand, they're like this. Don't touch me. Get away from me. My government will save me. My authority will save me. The artificial platform will save me. And now they're going down. And you want to do everything they can, but you can't reach. You can't reach to them until they pull out their hand. Right? Yes, it's important to love them. It's important to bring them blessings and all that. But we're not trying to change a person who has already made their mind up about things. Right? And it's hard, I get it. When it's family, when it's friends, you're saying, Brad, I can't live without my mom. I can't live without my dad. You understand that they're mortal beings. This is a mortal body. At some point, they are going to leave this earth. At some point, we're all going to leave this earth. But in that sense, when you truly love a person, you have to honor the decision that they make, even if it's one that you don't agree with. And I know how difficult that is. Again, my family's similar to that. Right? I do not agree with those who have been very, very close to me of how they've lived their life. But I'm not going to try and force them out of something that they feel this is where they need to be. It's part of their learning. You got to stop seeing yourself as a human, and you got to see yourself as a soul. And as you see yourself in the soul and saying, this is what they've done. I've reached out my hand. They've swatted away constantly. They put their hand here and say, nope, nope, nope. Right? Vibrational wise, this is what's happening. This is where they are. This is where you are. But if you put so much of your day trying to convince them, trying to get them to listen to what you say, well, then they're going to grab you and they're going to pull you under too. And then that's where you're going to put the majority of your energy. When in fact, you have all these other people, because everybody's family. Everybody. You have all these other people around you and saying, hey, Brad, what should we do? What do you want to do today? What should be our plan of action? Hey, Joe, hey, Jenny, what should we do? Let's work together. Let's unify here. Yeah, but I got to try and get my sister-in-law out of this quick pit, out of this mud pit here. She's falling in quicksand. Right? Well, she's tugging at you and pulling you along with her. Okay? You want to be aware of what you're doing with your energies, because now you're in trance. It's the CNN effect, right? You're getting into your own personal CNN. You're saying, I have to pull this person out of the mud. And you're going with them. Right? It's just something you have to look at. Look at the people that are working alongside you. Look at the people who know what's going on. That's what you want to work with. That's the power center here. That's what's going to shift this all around. Not through the idea of dedicating every second of your life towards a person that's sinking and doesn't want your help. Because therefore you become enslaved by that. Right? You become dependent upon that. You have no independent thought. You just have to be with them when they have already made up their mind. It's not to say, oh, just let them sink, but saying, you know what, I give them love. I have my love. It's my parents. It's my family. It's my friends. I have so much love for them. But if they're sinking and my hand's always here, it's always like this. If they don't reach for it, I can't do anything. Okay? It's like building a half of a bridge. We build our half of the bridge right here, or right at the edge. They have to build their other half of the bridge to come over. Okay? We cannot jump over our half of the bridge, pick them up, punch them in the face, put them over our shoulder, then leap over and go to our bridge. It doesn't work that way. Okay? Knocking them out and trying to get them over to your side of the bridge. All right? Everybody has to build their bridges. Okay? And a person may not want to build their bridge, because they feel that through the deepest depths of their soul, that they feel what they're doing is right, even though you say, are you crazy? That's not what it is. But you're both battling with each other. It's conflict over conflict. It's belief over belief. It's information over information. You're going to drown with that person if they are so stuck on wanting to stay with authority. Well, that authority is sinking in the quicksand as well, too. Okay? Please be aware of this. I just see this all the time. Like I said, I've even had my issues with that as well too. Okay. Hagar Zedon says, hold space until they ask for help. Otherwise, we violate their free will. Yes. Thank you, Hagar. You got it. That is it. Okay? Pay attention to what Hagar Zedon just said. Okay? Here's Hagar Zedon. And they say, hold space until they ask for help. Otherwise, we violate their free will. Not from my mouth, but from Hagar Zedon's mouth, from their text. Okay? Bravo, Hagar. Yes. That's the idea. Okay? So, again, this is the reason I bring this up, because this is constantly in my sessions. This is constantly in the questions I get as well, too. My mom's like this, my dad's like this, my brother's like this, my sister's like this, etc., etc., etc. What do I do? What do I do? I'm pulling my hair out. Stop pulling your hair out, right? Exactly as Hagar says here. Hold space. You are always going to love your family, right? Your biological family, absolutely. They're part of your soul circle here, of course. But they can't digest what you're digesting, right? It's like feeding them a certain type of food, and they can't digest that. It's poison. It's not poison. It feeds me fine. It's poison. Get it away from me, right? We got to stop battling with this. You hold space. You let them know that they are loved. But you got to be aware of all the people that are around you right now who are on your side, who are working together with you, who are in alignment with you. You let that pass you by. And when you harness that and you work together as a unit, that's where there's power. That's where there's this great, incredible shifting of energy, the shifting of love, like what we're all doing here right now. This is why when I do the Friday webcasts, quite commonly, I go and we start working with the earth. And we bring that love energy, because there's so many here on my channel that want to do that, that are in alignment to do that. And then we start doing group healing, right? We work on that together because many of you guys are in alignment with that and you want to do that. That's harnessing this unit. That's making the many into one. That's where the power resides, everybody. Please share this video with as many people as you can, okay? Because a lot of people are just confused. They're wandering around, and they're asking questions and things that I've already answered, not only in this webcast, but in other ones as well too, right? So please share this video around. Share it with people. Share it on your Facebook. Share it on your YouTube, whatever, okay? Just get it around. And this will help to answer a lot of people's questions, as well as many other webinars and our webcasts I've done also, okay? Cheryl says, I have no idea how I got here, but you are talking directly to me. I think I found that similar energy. I have no family to speak of here. I have my son, and I'm waiting on my star family. You got a whole family right here on Earth, right? All 8 billion people, Cheryl. They are your family, right? I have outgrown the idea of thinking that family only extends to biological, right? Only extends to bloodline. I have outgrown that a very long time ago, okay? I don't see family like that. Yes, I have a mother. Yes, I have a father, had a father, passed away a few years back, right? Yes, I have siblings. Yes, I have kids as well too, right? But they're not the only family. The entire world is the family. Earth herself is my family. We have star galactics, yeah, our star family, their family as well too. The planets are our family. The sun is our family. The galaxy is our family. Everything that resides in this universe is our family, because it's all life, it's all soul. Everything that is a soul is your family. Everything that is life is your family. That is what I have come to understand. I don't put so much favoritism on the idea of biological family or bloodlines. Okay? To me, that's an archaic idea. The entire nature of life is family, because I am far beyond the idea of a bloodline family. I am far beyond the idea of a human body. I am far beyond the idea of a mind. I am life. You are life. That's family. God is family. Everything that is family. All right? Thank you very much for your sharing. Okay. Someone asked kind of an interesting question here. I don't think I'll bring Adronis in this one because I think I can share it myself. Adronis, is there a penalty for killing a fly, a mosquito, a person, etc.? You're the penalty. How you react to what happens in that way becomes your penalty, right? So if you basically kill a mosquito, you kill a fly in that way. If you feel horrible about that, then that basically is the reciprocation of what you're doing in that way. If you kill a person in that sense that has so much love surrounding them, then you're going to feel the repercussions of those people that love them that come back to you, right? Everything is linked, everything is connected, cross-connected to everything else, right? A person has a very strong family bond, right? Lots of friends, lots of family that love them very dearly, and you're a murderer and you kill them. Well, now you're going to be facing the brunt of that family and the friends because they know that you killed them, right? You're going to have to face that. That's all part of you doing that. So it reciprocates, right? It's all reciprocal. It's all based upon you deciding to do that and therefore getting the repercussions of it because of a person who, again, has an unsteady mind that they have to kill, an unstable mind that they have to kill. And that becomes the repercussions. The people that love that person, the person that loved that animal, right? They come back and now there's repercussions of that. And if you do not humble yourself and make amends and atone, then yeah, there's going to be some heavy times with that, because that person who is unstable to kill, because that's really what it is. To really kill another is an instability in that way. Not for the idea of trying to get food or anything of that nature, just killing for the sake of killing, right? It's not to say that a person doesn't go and hunt and catch a fish, right? And use that fish for sustenance, because there's a purpose there, right? I use that fish to sustain me, to bring that forward. Thank you, Kathy, for your contribution too. I brought that forward, and that's to sustain me. But if I just mercilessly kill something, right, and there is such a bond pertaining to that thing that I killed, well, then that's the repercussion that comes together. Everything is a web of connectivity, right? It always comes back. So again, what requires is humility, what requires is atonement, what requires is forgiveness, right? And that's what's helping to bring about a slow wound to heal. All right? So thank you for your question, Danny. Dabijan. Okay. Someone asked, did anyone share anything about the Vax passport? No, I have not. Okay. Adronis hasn't shared anything about that either yet. I know people are concerned about that as well too. That is going to be retaliated. That's one of the many things that's going to be retaliated. As Adronis just said, and I know you're coming in late, but as Adronis just said, is that every particular plan that they have is going to be foiled, right? That's where the checkmate has come in, right? Checkmate, no matter what they do. Here's vaccine passport. Oh, checkmate. Oh, here's mass vaccination rollout. Oh, checkmate. Oh, here's more mask agendas. Oh, checkmate. Oh, here's trying to create a new virus. Oh, checkmate. Okay, that's how it's going to happen. And it's as Adronis was saying, they will stoop to any level to try and get their agendas out. But like I said, when you stay strong, when you work together as a unit, as I've been talking about, that's what's going to turn the tide. Okay, if you guys are coming in late, please watch the recording of this. Okay, it's on my YouTube channel. It's going to be recorded. Okay, so just catch up with the recording. A lot of great stuff was shared. Okay, thank you guys. We're going to wrap up the webcast for today. I really appreciate all of you being here with me. And again, I apologize for my faulty microphone at the beginning. I'm going to definitely look into that, but like I said, that has never happened. So, like I said, I think there is some other forces just not wanting me to talk about this today, but too late. It's happened. Anyways, thank you guys. I will see you all next Friday. I may do some more videos this coming week as well too for the New Earth Teachings Q&A too. So, thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of the week, a great weekend, and I'll speak to you again in another perspective of the now. Take care. Thank you very much for checking out the New Earth Teachings YouTube channel. Feel free to check out my websites, newearthteachings.com, healingcodecards.com, healingcodeshop.com. Go on to healingcodecards.com to grab your body deck and your mind deck. Also available in digital versions as well. And of course, you can follow me on social media, on Facebook, on MeWe, and of course on Telegram as well. Thank you again for tuning in, and I'll speak to you again in the next video. Take care and show the way.